find ourselves.
The weirdest things happen to me, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I mean, here I am stocking up for Halloween. I got my steaks, got my ribs. Then when I asked the stock boy where the Coors Light is back, he points me to the Coors and Coors Light Halloween display, and I'm on it. Wow, it's like deja vu. Wow, it's like deja vu. Look for it where you buy beer. I shop here because they slash prices. There goes another one. Happy Halloween, darling.
Hey, all you weirdos. Joel Pound, the Groovy Graverobber here. And last year, we had a spooky Saturday morning where we watched scary cartoons, so I felt it only fitting that this year we have a paranormal Primetime. So get ready for some syndicated strangeness tonight. And well, I waited to the last minute to be able to film these host segments, so instead of a full-blown Ghost Hunters parody, we're gonna get the energy of R.L. Stine introducing the Goosebumps specials. But nevertheless, I felt we could still try and find some paranormal activity of our own. So, I got the old dowsing rods, yeah? I got the old classical tape recorder for the electrical voice phenomena. And I have this, obviously haunted doll. So, we might not have the budget or the time, but we can still try to make some kind of paranormal contact this evening. But first, get ready for a smorgasbord of strangeness as we take a look at Beyond Bizarre.
For the next hour, join us as we leave the normal world behind and delve into a world of witches, desert giants, and mystifying religious practices. We visit a remote western dry lake where rocks are moved by an unseen force, and meet the incredible wolf boys of Mexico. From practitioners of modern mummification to encounters with aliens from outer space, we'll be probing a world that is beyond bizarre. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Jay Robinson, your host for Beyond Bizarre. The dictionary defines bizarre as an adjective, a word meaning deviating from the customary, conceived or done with no reference to reality or common sense. Well, tonight we will be taking you well beyond the customary, the concept of reality, and some may say, well past what our culture considers common sense. To begin our exploration of the bizarre, perhaps it's appropriate for us to start with the very cement that holds us together as a social community. That adhesive is religion, dictating the moral rules we must follow to achieve social stability while here and immortality beyond. While we are familiar with the world's major forms of religious practices, there are a few that definitely fall into the dictionary's definition of bizarre. In a small southern town sits an unassuming little church, a place people of faith gather to become closer to their Maker, to sing songs and read scriptures from their Bibles, and to share with their neighbors their belief in the hereafter. There's only one small difference between this church and most others. And some say it's beyond bizarre.
The Bible says that they shall take up serpents, and they shall not hurt them.
You know you're in trouble when you get bit.
Well, inside it feels like that I'm gonna bust.
If they do it, make sure that God's moving on to do it, because there's death in it.
I know a man who has died because of this.
These are the Pentecostal Serpent Handlers, a congregation of Christians at the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ in Kingston, Georgia, who take the Bible literally and whose practices are banned in most parts of the United States. The strange practice of handling deadly snakes originated sometime during the summer of 1909 in the hills and hollows of eastern Tennessee, after a preacher named George Wenthensley took a literal reading of Mark 16.
They shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them, and they shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover.
Since its inception, numerous people have died while handling poisonous snakes during religious ceremonies. Yet many snake handlers who have practiced their faith for years are still around to talk about it, and many have been bitten numerous times.
Been bit 116 times, and was caught in those northern copperheads, southern copperheads, broadband copperheads, western diamondback, and Pacific. Really, I don't care what's going to happen. If I'm going to die, I'll die with it, and that'll be fine. I know I could die, and I know I could hurt, and some of them do hurt me real bad. And the last time I got bit, I was down a few days, but I got bit with 2 rattlesnakes the same night, about just like that, right in here. And, well, I started hurting right quick, and I guess just 2 minutes' time, I was feeling very poor.
Common knowledge among snake handling experts that diamondback rattlesnakes and cottonmouths are highly aggressive snakes, striking at the slightest movement. Death is almost always imminent if one doesn't seek medical attention. Therefore, it is questionable why these snakes seem so lethargic during this practice. And why do these believers seem to recover so quickly after being bitten?
We believe that God can heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, and raise the dead, or whatever, that's necessary. I believe that God can do it.
Another act of faith practiced religiously during the ceremony is the drinking of deadly poison. The scriptures in Mark 16 state, "And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them." This poison happens to be the deadly and dreaded strychnine. Strychnine poisoning destroys the central nervous system by its effects on the brain. Symptoms are slurred speech, stiffening joints, jitters, nausea, and uncontrollable jerking, to be followed later by convulsions and death by restricted breathing. Yet none of these believers seems to show any ill effects after drinking the deadly brew.
Strychnine, I wouldn't advise nobody to put up against their lips unless they're living right. Because now snakes you might handle, and God of mercy may not let it bother you. But most times, the person drinks strychnine, they'll hit the floor if they ain't living.
The laying on of hands is also practiced by these Christian serpent handlers. They believe that through God, they can heal the sick. Speaking in tongues is also experienced by many of these believers. Sometimes it is God speaking only to them, or God speaking through them to someone else in the parish who can understand the tongue. Casting out Satan in order to save a soul is yet another task. As the service is due to a close, our documentary crew was given permission to remove a sample of the liquid that they claimed was strychnine. We made sure it was from the exact jar that everyone drank from. The sample was sent to Los Angeles, where chemists tested the liquid to determine its makeup. The results may shock you. The liquid these believers drank that day was unquestionably 100% strychnine poison.
I believe in drinking strychnine, handling serpents, and speaking in tongue and all.
And there's no doubt that whatever the reason, be it their faith in God, the power of mind over matter, or pure luck, these believers, these serpent handlers of God, most certainly possess something rather special. Another unique religious practice is that of witchcraft. Not demonic evil witches cast out from Satan's den, but rather good witches, witches that love the land and nature that surrounds them. They are the witches of Wicca, and their beliefs are as old as ancient times.
In the name of our Lord and Lady, I welcome you into this temple of the Circle of Isis Rising.
We in no way, shape, or form are connected with black magic practices, with satanic practices, or any of those negative sort of things. We primarily are an earth, nature-oriented religion.
Wicca practitioners come from all walks of life. The high priestess is the queen of heaven, and in some respects resembles the Egyptian goddess Isis. She is light, love, and above all, fertility.
My responsibility is basically to serve people, to touch as many lives as I can in a positive way. That's my responsibility that I feel. So mote it be.
So might it be.
The high priest is the horn god, the dark male factor. And between them, they control the turning of the seasons. They bring fertility to both crops and animals, and bestow magical powers upon their faithful followers.
I have practiced spells for our district and our company for prosperity to come into our area and make money, and it has worked.
Magic and spells are still very much a part of their beliefs and practices, but only good spells, since a bad spell can come back to its creator threefold.
Whatever actions an individual puts out, it will come back to you threefold or 3 times. Therefore, it doesn't do any good to put out anything other than positive vibrations in this world, because that's exactly what you're going to get back.
Regardless as to whether you believe in witches or not, there's no doubting their sincerity, how they feel about their fellow members.
Wicca accepts me the way I am. It doesn't try to change me. And it hasn't told me that I have to go out and convince anyone else that they have to come to Wicca either.
And as for their favorite holiday, you might have guessed.
We all get together. We celebrate like the New Year for us, which is Halloween, Samhain. And I just enjoy. And I beseech you to come down and witness.
Luckily for these witches, there is no longer a fear of being burned at the stake. No longer do they need to run and hide if local townspeople discover their beliefs. Today they can blend in perfectly with society, and no one knows the difference. Except on those cold, breezy nights when the moon is full and all good witches gather to practice their centuries-old ritual magic. Coming up, an encounter with the mysterious giants of the desert.
I just gotta say, those witches look so lame compared to those crazy holiest churches dancing around, swinging those rattlesnakes, drinking poison. Like, those witches look so lame compared to them. Those crazy mountain Christians are way more punk rock and rock and roll and heavy metal and everything that's cool than those silly little Wiccas playing pretend.
Next, a glimpse of the anti-aging machine and its creator. Some of the world's most bizarre and baffling mysteries can be found in the American Southwest. Tricks of nature, man-made puzzles whose meanings have been lost in the mists of time. One such mystery involves rocks. Not just ordinary rocks, mind you, but rocks that are propelled by unseen forces. Below stretches the desert vastness of California's Death Valley Monument. The Indians call it Tumesha, ground on fire, an appropriate name for a land where summertime soil temperatures reach 190 degrees, just 22 degrees below the boiling point of water. We joined desert adventurer Glenn Turner on a journey to view one of nature's truly bizarre phenomena, Death Valley's rocks that move.
It was about a year ago, and a friend of mine, Mike Ruin, and myself had come out here because we had heard about the rocks that moved. And when we came out to the area, it was so eerie just walking around. It was almost like there was almost like a presence.
According to Glenn's account, he and his friend camped out on the Devil's Racetrack near a large boulder. In the morning, they awakened to an incredible surprise. The boulder, weighing well over 100 pounds, had moved 50 or 60 feet.
When we get out there, I'll show you some of the area. But it was unexplainable. It was pretty bizarre.
Because of the 28 miles of bone-jarring gravel road, few tourists visit this amazing site. High clearance or four-wheel drive vehicles are recommended. This is Tea Kettle Junction. For reasons still unknown to park officials, occasional visitors to this remote site have marked their passing by hanging tea kettles on this road marker. Here the road forks, and Glenn follows the trail to the Devil's Racetrack, a dry lake bed where one can find the mysterious rocks that move. In this desolate setting, Glenn hikes across the flat mud surface to the southern end of the Devil's Racetrack, where the majority of the moving rocks are found. The rocks, ranging in size from small to large boulders, weighing 100 pounds or more, seem to be propelled over the racetrack by an unseen force, leaving a visible trail in the dry lake bed. The first ones that Glenn finds haven't moved for some time. Their trails are barely visible on the clay surface. But further out on the racetrack, Glenn finds moving rocks that have left new trails that haven't been eroded by winds and time. First discovered by early Death Valley explorers, the rocks remain an unsolved phenomenon. But to this day, no one has seen them move. According to Ranger Shirley Harding, the current official explanation for the moving rocks is that in periods of precipitation, the dry lake becomes wet. When the surface freezes, the rocks are propelled by high winds across the icy terrain. But as Shirley explains, other theories abound.
Some people thought just wind and the slick surface moves them. Some thought maybe UFOs, maybe something strange that we're never going to find out about. And in a way, we haven't. We've never seen it happen. We've just seen the evidence.
Some dispute the wind and ice theory, pointing out that on some occasions, the trail left by the moving rocks have cut across a dry, cracked surface, as in this photograph taken in 1968. Till someone actually sees them move, Death Valley's racetrack rocks will remain an unsolved and bizarre mystery. Our journey into the bizarre has brought us here to the small farming community of Blythe, California. For it is here that one finds the mystifying Intalios, the giants of the desert. With mystery seeker and self-proclaimed desert rat Tom Hinshaw as our guide, we walk across a time-stained gravel mesa to examine a few of the widely scattered Intalios. The intaglios are huge human and animal representations etched into the desert surface. Just who made them, when, and why are questions that remain unanswered to this day. According to the present-day Mojave and Quetzan Indians of the lower Colorado River Basin, the human figures may represent Mastambo, creator of the earth. This barely discernible mountain lion figure may be a drawing of Hatakulya, or according to Indian mythology, helped in the creation. But what was their original purpose? At the time they were made, they could have only been viewed in their entirety by high-flying birds. Modern man didn't discover their existence until the 1930s, when early-day aviators spotted them from the air. Veteran charter pilot Ed Venable flies north over the fertile Colorado River Basin to get a better look at the mysterious intaglios. Here at the desolate mesa overlooking the Colorado, one can finally see the giants of the desert in their entirety. Below, the man-like figure of Mastambo comes into view, along with the mountain lion, Hatakulya. Theories as to their purpose vary widely. Some say that they were sites where sacred ceremonial dances were held. If so, why their huge size? One of the human figures measures 171 feet from head to toe. Others theorize that the intaglios were attempts by early man to contact beings from outer space. Credible thought? Not really. When one delves into the history of unidentified flying objects. Northwest of the Blythe Intaglios is the sparsely settled desert community of Landers, California. This is the location of a strange dome structure called the Integratron. The story behind its construction is as strange as the building itself. To tell that story, we must first visit a nearby desert monolith called Giant Rock, purported to be the world's largest freestanding boulder. Now abandoned, Giant Rock was once the unique home of this man, Dr. George Van Tassel. A former test pilot for Howard Hughes and Douglas Aircraft, George settled here in 1950. Beneath the rock, George enlarged and improved a former desert rat's subterranean dwelling, making an office and living quarters out of it. He expanded on the length of a nearby dry lake and created a runway for Giant Rock Airport, a unique flyaway destination for private pilots. Then, in 1953, something happened that changed George Van Tassel's life forever. According to his own account, he was awakened from a deep sleep by strange beings, aliens from another planet. Humanoid in appearance, the visitors spoke English and invited George to visit their spacecraft, which they had landed at the end of Giant Rock's runway. He then claimed he boarded the spacecraft and had the ride of his life. The aliens revealed unearthly secrets to him that led to the construction of the Integratron. The building was to be an energy machine. As George explained in his 1960s interview, the Integratron would be able to do amazing things to benefit mankind.
Well, everything has a beginning, you know, buddy. TV had its beginning, and the missile business and everything else. And this is a beginning into what we hope will be mass rejuvenation of people.
For 2 decades, George worked on his energy machine, spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on its all-wood construction. Unfortunately, he was never able to avail himself of the machine's rejuvenation capabilities, passing away before its completion. Today, the Integratron is owned by Emil Canning, who carries on the amazing story.
Very few people have actually really been in here because he kept people out while he was building it. So out of that 20 years, maybe only the last couple of years people were able to go through it. So out of the thousands of people, very few have seen it. So I feel it's part of my responsibility to make it available for people to see it and experience it, not only for its historical properties, but also for the energy that's in this building. When you go outside and you look at the outside of the building, you'll see these spokes that are coming out. Those spokes were supposed to be powered by an air compressor, and that would lift them up and they would actually spin around the building. The same way in your automobile, you have a fan belt and that spins your alternator and your alternator generates power. When the outside of this building would spin, it would generate power. When it would generate power, then it would be animated in the field above us, and then it would come down this column where I'm now sitting and send out a wave of energy. And he said that if you walked through here or you sat where I'm sitting, you would experience re-energizing. And his vision was that he would take 10,000 people a day. They'd be lined up. They'd come in that door. They'd walk here. They'd sit here. They'd stand here. They'd get rejuvenated, and they'd walk out the other door. He said he could take 10 or 15 years of aging off of people. He didn't leave any written plans or written instructions. I never personally met the man. So all I have is the facility that he built and what people have told me about him and what people have told me that he was planning to do. So a lot of what I have to go on here is my best intuition, my best guess.
Dr. George Van Tassel, more mysterious dead than alive. Did he really have encounters with aliens from another planet? Were the plans for the Integratron really channeled to him from space beings? Will Emil Canning be able to ultimately unravel the riddle of the giant energy machine's design and operation? Only time will tell. Till then, the Integratron will remain a perplexing desert enigma. Coming up, meet the amazing Wolf Boys of Mexico. Next, see the severed head of infamous bandit Joaquin Murrieta. Today's newspapers are full of UFO sightings, mysterious crop circles, and reports of alien abductions. Do humanoid-appearing creatures from other worlds really exist? Well, here's one man who claims they do.
The ancient Romans called them fiery shields. The ancient Greeks called them chariots of fire. The ancient Chinese called them fire boats, B-O-A-T-S. And down through human history, it's recorded by people whose sole responsibility it was to record unusual aerial phenomena. This dates back thousands upon thousands of years, and is continuing to this day.
Meet Dr. Frank E. Strangers, author and lecturer on the subject of UFO phenomena. He is also the president of the National Investigations Committee on UFOs. And according to Frank, their membership newsletter adheres to high journalistic standards of reporting. Over 45 years of research and investigation into unidentified flying objects and alien encounters has led Frank to the publication of several books on the subjects. In Stranger at the Pentagon, Dr. Strangers relates the story of his initial meeting with Valiant Thor, a Venusian spaceship captain. His relationship with Thor continues to this day.
Commander Valiant Thor is an individual whose photograph was given to me by an Air Force photographer called August Roberts. And he gave me this picture, claiming that he took these pictures at a place in Highbridge, New Jersey, at the lawn UFO lecture at the home of Howard Menger. I said, who is this man? He said, well, this man claims to come from another planet. I said, Augie, what have you been smoking? Not too long after that, I was invited to Washington to speak at a church convention, and after the meeting, this woman comes to the platform, and she identified this picture as someone she thought I should meet. And she said, how would you like to meet him? I said, I most certainly would. And she said, meet me downstairs in front of your hotel tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, and I'll take you to where he is. Needless to say, I got very little sleep that night. But the following morning, bright and early at 8 o'clock, I was downstairs. She picked me up, brought me to the Pentagon. I got through two security guards going in and through two security guards coming out with no ID whatsoever. This man, Commander Valiant Thor, to my understanding, is everything that he said he is. In essence, in a nutshell, he claims to come from the inside of the planet Venus. He's a phenomenal individual. He has an IQ that dumbfounded the experts at the Pentagon. Basically, he looks like a normal human being, as you can see his picture. He did depart from this planet on the morning of March 16, 1960, after being at the Pentagon for 3 years. He left the Earth for 1 year, and then he appeared in the back seat of my car when I was driving to my attorney's office in Beverly Hills 1 year to the day, March 16, 1961. And this voice booms out of the back of my car, "Hello, Frank, how are you?" Well, I nearly ran a red light. But after I parked the car, he got in like a normal individual in the front seat of the car, and he's been here ever since.
According to Dr. Strange's, Valiant Thor's spacecraft is currently based somewhere in the desert terrain near Nevada's huge Lake Mead reservoir. When, as occasion warrants it, Frank meets with Valiant Thor aboard the craft, named Victory 1.
My meetings with Val continue to this day, from 1961 to this present day. And the reason for the secrecy is that he believes, he stated that he is acting within a time frame. And when the time comes for him to reveal himself to masses, then he will, and not before that time.
Dr. Frankie Strange's authority or charlatan? If not Valiant Thor, then who is this man in the mysterious photos? Is a giant spacecraft based somewhere near Lake Mead? If so, why has it remained unseen by thousands of yearly visitors? Until we know these answers, Dr. Frankie Strange's encounters with Valiant Thor will remain in a twilight world that is truly beyond bizarre. Dr. Strange's, a man who seems to be able to keep a cool head when confronted with the bizarre. California bandit Joaquin Murrieta wasn't so fortunate. He lost his head in an encounter with California Rangers in 1853. Walter Johnson of Santa Rosa, California, is a collector of Western memorabilia, and his prized relic is strange, to say the least.
Well, really, almost all my life I've been interested in the Old West, mainly California history and Civil War in that era. And I've collected guns for several years and Indian artifacts and Western artifacts. But I believe my prize is my buddy here, old Joaquin Murrieta.
California Rangers, under the command of Captain Love, ambushed Joaquin and his gang at Cantina Creek on July 7th, 1853. As proof of their actions, they cut off Joaquin's head. For several years, it was displayed in California's saloons before being exhibited at the Stockton House. Walter Johnson is the present owner of this truly unique relic of Western history. Every once in a while, a story hits the headlines which mystifies some people and angers others. It's the case of two Mexican brothers dubbed the Wolf Boys, first appeared in the press. Many people around the world have dismissed it as apocryphal or quite simply a crude hoax. Circus performers Danny and Larry Ramos Gomez have been cruelly compared to werewolves because of a rare genetic disorder which has left them totally covered with thick, curly black hair from head to toe. Some people refuse to believe they even exist. 14-year-old Larry and little brother Danny, age 9, were born into poverty in a small Mexican village. A number of their relatives have also been affected by the rare syndrome. The brave brothers were paraded like freaks in a humiliating peep show and taunted as Los Niños Lobos, the Wolf Boys. But a chance to escape and see the world was offered to them by Roberto Campa, director of the Mexican National Circus, which he recently brought to England.
I found the boys one time to work them in a carnival, and I talked to the parents, and I say I can teach the boys to be something, you know. I really feel like a father of the boys, really. I take it with me every place I go, What I plan to do myself is teaching them to be a real good performer. They have the courage, you know, to go on the trapeze, so I know he's going to be a very good player. The little one, I think he's going to be good, but he likes to play too much.
The brother's medical condition has baffled experts here in Britain, and doctors who have examined them in Japan, Argentina, and America have also drawn a blank.
We don't know exactly what causes the disorder because the condition itself is excessively rare, but we do have some information from drugs that produce a similar effect. Probably what's happening is the growth part of the hair cycle has been switched on continuously, and all the follicles of the body are affected, but particularly the face and the scalp.
You like England? Bueno. Do you want to be in the circus all your life?
A mí el circo es una vida. ¿Se muere el circo y mamá?
He said to me, the circus is the life. If the circus die, I die too.
Any treatment would have to, for this disorder, would have to be linked to finding out why their hair follicles had been continuously stimulated. Shaving would just produce a temporary improvement in the same way that you just shave your beard. Same goes for electrolysis. It would produce a temporary improvement, but because of the constant stimulation, the hair would grow back.
The boys have now returned home, but it was a sad day when the circus left town. The time came to say adios to the endearing Mexican visitors. Coming up, the modern miracle of people frozen in time. Next, journey from the ancient pharaohs to modern-day mummies. From time immemorial, man is worried about his mortality and the inevitability of death. In ancient Egypt, the pharaohs built great pyramids and temples to perpetuate their lifetime needs and conquests. In the far reaches of the Pacific, Polynesians interred the remains of royalty in secret caves to keep enemies from stealing the mana or powers within their bones. After the collapse of the Roman Empire and the Dark Ages, Europe's Reformation brought about new religious concepts concerning life after death and the salvation of souls. Funeral practices began to take their present form with burials in cemeteries. As Europe's small villages grew into towns, and from towns to great cities, space for the dead became prime real estate. This led to the creation of carnal houses, where the disinterred remains of former citizens were collected in a space-saving move. Incredibly enough, in some places, the practice continues to this day. With no more tombstones to mark their passing, village painters inscribe the deceased's names and dates of death on the exhumed skulls. They are then gathered in the carnal house, the final resting place, until a future generation decides they must be moved again. For those who died and were interred in the township of Guanajuato, Mexico, Mother Nature had a rude surprise. When families could no longer afford to pay the rent on a loved one's gravesite, the dead were exhumed, revealing that due to minerals in the dry soil, they had been mummified. The disinterred were placed in a church hallway, men, women, and children, their faces frozen in a final vision. Many people, the specter of their eventual demise is unthinkable, so they seek immortality of body as well as soul. To satisfy this demand, cryonic clinics have been established. A body must be prepared within 24 hours after death for cryonic suspension. First, the blood is drained. Then a balanced salt solution is flushed through the circulatory system. Next, the body is connected to a perfusion apparatus, and a glycerol solution is placed into the deceased. This reduces freezing damage that might occur and prevents cell deterioration. By freezing the dead, it is hoped that sometime in the future the deceased can be brought back to life. Time of Berkeley, California, are cryonic specialists. The procedure is quite costly, so the money for it must be provided in a will. After being placed in a sleeping bag and wrapped in a plastic casing, the body is put in a capsule filled with liquid nitrogen and held at a bone-chilling 320 degrees below zero. If cryonics proves successful, the future will be inhabited by humans from the past. The Egyptians developed the art of mummification, preserving the body of the dead so that its spirit lives on. It is believed that the Egyptians mummified over 730 million people, and although the practice died out long ago, it has recently been resurrected, healthy and alive, at Lynn University in the state of Florida.
Embalming is a temporary process, whereas the ancient art of mummification...
Today, these students are being trained to bring a very dead art form back to life once again.
Something that I've been very interested in for a long time. I'm extremely excited about it. The more you become involved, the more fascinated you become.
We're going to remove the stomach, the liver, and the...
John Shu is a licensed funeral director and head of the funeral services department at Lynn University. It's his dream to be the first mortician to mummify a human being since the practice ceased over 1,500 years ago. And for anywhere between $20,000 and $150,000, you too can become a mummy, although a down payment is required.
Suman was interested in the mummification process. They developed this concept, and I became interested in working with them on this because I had been researching it for many years. And between us, we were able to come up with these concepts of modern mummification. After 1,500 years, here we were on the verge of something, bringing something back, something that expressed the dignity of man.
The doctor makes it perfectly clear that mummification doesn't have to eliminate the traditional funeral rites we have become accustomed to. One simply dies, has the traditional open casket viewing, and then is wheeled away behind closed doors, where eternal life awaits.
After the funeralization took place, the body was taken to the place of mummification, whereas the body had a 10-inch incision made within and underneath the rib cage.
We'll eviscerate the organs, both the thoracic and the abdominal aorta.
From that point, the organs were removed from the body.
Reaching in, going all the way through.
Placed in a container.
And slip the organs into a bucket.
Cleaned, sanitized, and prepared to be placed in the vat with the body.
The vat that the body organs are being placed in contains secret solutions of salts and chemicals. The mortician's bodysuits and masks are worn for protection against the chemicals of the body's natural toxins. The vat is then sealed shut, though every day it is reopened to pour in more solutions. Finally, after 7 to 12 days, the body is removed and placed once again on the operating table, where the all-too-familiar gauze is wrapped meticulously around the body. Later, a polyurethane solution is used to seal in the mummiform. And once you've gone through all this, just what kind of mummiform is available to you?
There are many options for the mummiform. You can create any type of mummiform. We use the Egyptian motif because that's probably the most spectacular. But we can place a person in priest garments. It may be of an Oscar motif, or, it could be almost anything.
For the right price, any mummiform you choose is okay with them. But where will they locate you once you are a mummy?
These mummiforms can be placed in family mausoleums, There is, right now, is the construction in the mountains of Salt Lake City. There is going to be individual spots to place these mumble forms. But these can be relocated all over the world. These can be located in any area, any cemetery. It's just a matter of having them constructed to meet the needs. The average may be a 10 by 10 type of mausoleum in which this mumble form would be placed. And I think this is important to people. This is what people are looking for. Something to say, yes, I have lived a life.
What about your pets? Heaven forbid you go to that special place and forget your favorite animal. Well, don't worry. They've thought of everything. Sumam in Utah has your critter companions in mind for the hereafter. Now, when you are finally sealed and resting in your tomb, you don't have to be alone. Fido could be a mummy, too.
Rooster lived here at the pyramid for a number of years in the house with me, and she belongs to a lady by the name of Kay Henry. Rooster passed away about 6 months ago. When she passed away, her owner had decided that she wanted Rooster mummified, and she would like Rooster in her mausoleum space also. Because Kay Henry's going to be mummified. They'll a large mausoleum space have some things in there, and Rooster's one of the most important things in her life because she was so loyal to her.
And of course, the founder of Sumam had his 2 house pets mummified when they passed away 2 years ago. Oscar the cat and Butch the Doberman Pinscher. Recently, he had them both x-rayed to determine their condition.
A number of years have passed by, and the vets that x-rayed the cat were amazed at the detail that you could see through the x-rays into Oscar. All of the muscle tissue is just perfectly preserved. The lenses on his eyes are still perfectly preserved. Oscar is perfectly mummified. His body's perfectly preserved indefinitely, forever, as long as the planet happens to be around.
Sumam is a company that offers alternatives to mundane forms of burial. Once sealed within the mummiform and placed in the cliff-faced mausoleums, you, like the pharaohs, will be preserved forever. In today's fast-paced world of computer printouts, satellite communications, and space-age wizardry, it's somehow comforting to know that there are still people, places, and things that defy the concept of normality. That there are still individuals who refuse to fit a mold, and global mysteries that still defy scientific explanations. Until we meet again, I'm Jay Robinson, bringing you back to the everyday world, far removed from the realm that is beyond bizarre.
Get the tape recorder set up to try to record our electric voice phenomenon. Let's take a look at a classic show, In Search Of, and on the subject of voodoo.
The ceremony mingles the demons of humanity's oldest fears with elements of a young religion. The result is a faith filled with the spirits of good and evil and tinged with magic. For priest and practitioner alike, the cares of the real world disappear in the ecstasy of celebration. They transport themselves into a domain rich in legend, dark curses, and mystery. This is the world of the Hungan and the Mambo, a world haunted by the specter of the zombie. This is voodoo.
This series presents information based in part on theory and conjecture. The producer's purpose is to suggest some possible explanations, but not necessarily the only ones, to the mysteries we will examine.
When Christopher Columbus anchored off the tip of Haiti in 1492, the island was proclaimed the land that possessed everything in the world a man can want. Almost 500 years later, the promise has dimmed. French colonizers plundered Haiti, using slaves to wrench sugar and coffee from the soil. Today, for all its richness, the descendants of slaves live in the poorest country of the Americas. The second oldest republic in the Western Hemisphere, Haiti is the only nation ever to leap from slavery to sovereignty in one bloody step. Poor, noisy, crowded, Haiti clings to the traditions of two worlds. The language is Creole, a corruption of French. Officially, it has accepted as its religion Catholicism. Almost 95% of the people of Haiti are Catholic. Unofficially, they follow the Hungan of voodoo. His name is Papa Jouy. By birthright and practice, he is a voodoo priest, reportedly one of the most powerful in Haiti. The parish of Papa Jouy perches atop a dusty hillside on the outskirts of Port-au-Prince, Haiti's capital city. No electric lines feed the houses, no pavement covers the roads, no plumbing carries in fresh water or drains the wastes. In two crude temples atop a small cliff, voodoo thrives. As preached by Papa Jouy, it holds the key to good fortune and good health for all the people of the hillside. When an expert is asked what lies behind the practice of voodoo, the inevitable answer is it cannot be explained. It must be experienced. What we committed to film, therefore, is voodoo as it is rarely seen by strangers. Voodoo as it is felt by the people who live through its precepts. The time is early evening. No formal announcement of a voodoo ceremony has been made. But the activity on the hilltop has attracted dozens of people. The signal that the festivities will soon begin is the drawing of the veve, intricate patterns outlined on the floor in a white sand-like substance. The mark of a veve, however complicated its pattern, is the mirror image created by each design. Papa Jouy has established tonight as a Rada ceremony, a celebration of white voodoo. The drums are set to call forth a galaxy of smiling, optimistic spirits who bring with them good luck and good tidings. It is believed that the measure of a priest is his ability to summon the spirits. So Papa Jouy takes extraordinary care to design the proper atmosphere. The drums are believed to have junto, a divine spirit. The veve are drawn in honor of the life force inside the drums.
Première fois, après deuxième fois, après troisième fois.
Ok.
Each drum has a unique pitch and rhythm it keeps. Together, they create the music of voodoo, the hard, driving underpinning of its power. In the Rada, the white ceremony, all is joyous, and the children are allowed to participate. Hunsai gather to launch the night's festivities. To dress in white and join the priest, they have undergone a protracted and difficult initiation. They have become insiders in the world of voodoo and can expect a larger share of good fortune. For it is believed that through the priest, the spirits will make themselves felt and seen. Papa Juiz signals the beginning, the first joyous call for the spirits to enter and join the festivities. From the cadence of the drums comes a moving force that burrows into the human psyche. The bass voice of the biggest drum, the manman, awakens perceptions and feelings that overwhelm the participant. To hear the sound is to feel voodoo. Surrounded by the ritual movement, the music, the singing, there comes a release from the hardships of life. To the Haitian, the feeling clearly tolls the arrival of the good spirits. There is no time limit. For as long as Papa Juiz decrees, the Hunsai will dance, the drums will speak, and the spirits will enter the sanctuary. One symbol of success will be a possession, the instant when a spirit will enter the body of a Hunsai and take over complete control. Possession occurs. A principal Hunsai goes rigid. Her body is beyond her own control. Now, through her, the spirit is believed to speak and act, and good will come of it, for this is Rada, white voodoo. They believe that the only possible harm that can come is that the spirit will vacate the body of the possessed and take with it the body's soul, leaving behind a zombie. Tonight, that will not happen. Tonight is Radha. Tomorrow night is Petro, the red ceremony, the celebration of the angry spirits, when anything can happen. During ages of intricately woven superstition, the role of Papa Jui, the Hungan, has been tainted by the black arts of the magician. How else can he be trusted to deal with the spirits that will be unleashed tonight in the Petro ceremony, the calling forth of angry spirits? He is not a sorcerer, but a priest, as was his father. Through study and purification, he has achieved an exalted role among his people. Each day, he is called on to produce cures and spells. He banishes demons and applies curses to wrongdoers. It seems a difficult task for so common appearing a man. His sanctuary holds the peculiar blend of elements that have become voodoo. Catholicism has been adapted to the warp of African magic. A roll call of saints mingles in a liturgy filled with the likes of Baron Samedi, overlord of the dead. In the innermost stronghold of the Petro sanctuary, the walls bear dire threats. Vengeance is a part of voodoo. To arouse anger against an enemy, it is said that 2 nails must be driven into the beam of his house after a family member has died. Then the dead spirit will be trapped, and in his wrath, he will turn against his former kin. Werewolves abound in voodoo literature. So do vampires, normal people by day, blood-sucking terrors by night. For those who believe in voodoo, the living dead are also real, the zombie. They haunt the nightmares of almost every Haitian child. Papa Jui must cast spells and create amulets. He's required to interpret dreams and to reach into the future to predict events. Tarot cards and talismans are part of his working paraphernalia. Often he will be asked to give immunity from sorcerers. In complicated ritual, he will receive a lock of hair and fingernail clippings, place them in a bottle with a part of the person's soul, and presto. So long as the bottle is protected, the person is safe from sorcerers. Soon, he will be ready to begin the Petro ceremony. It is crucial that all goes well, for the anger that might be set afoot is awesome. Spirits with malicious natures must be appeased. If they are not, the consequences, he believes, are dire to all who take part in the service. Occasionally, the In Search Of camera ventures into a world where few have been privileged to travel. The Petro ceremony is one. Such a place is not for the timid. Sacrifice is part of the firmament. So is fire. So is possession. It is a ceremony tainted by blood and enveloped by noise. The coming of darkness signals the first greeting to the vengeful spirits of Petro. There will soon be dangers set loose by the very acts Papa Jui decrees. The spirits that are called Loa in voodoo might overrun the ability of the priest to control them. In the very first moments, after the completion of the complicated veve, the special designs in sand, Papa Jui leads his people in prayer that is drawn from Catholic liturgy. The cross drawn upon the floor has for them dual significance. For in voodoo, any crossing point, the center of all X's, is a place where magic abounds. There exists a great gulf between the people and the spirits which they try to appease. The ceremony provides a bridge between the two worlds. very act of touching the animal brings each person closer to his God. In the ultimate moments of the Petro, when the Loa, the spirits, are said to invest themselves in the bodies of believers, there will still be no actual contact. In voodoo, in order to be possessed, the person's own spirit must first leave. The gods are separate beings. A god and a person cannot occupy the same space at the same time. So the person possessed leaves his own body and becomes a horse, carrying the Loa wherever it wants to go. When the Loa, the spirit, departs, the person may return to his own body, an end devoutly wished. If the person does not return, the body becomes a zombie, a member of the walking, living dead, cursed for eternity to live without feeling or thought. Legba, the spirit who makes communication possible with the other gods, is present. He has opened the door to possession, and the so-called horses are carrying the spirits around the sanctuary. The possessed will remember nothing of what has occurred. They now feel safe. Papa Jouy has led them through all the dangers of Petro. The spirits have been appeased. The Loa of vengeance are calm. Momentarily, they are content. The Petro is finished. The crowded, noisy, ragged world of Haiti breeds the demons of voodoo. But there are those who contend that the spirits that are set loose in the Rada and Petro are the very center of an ennobling religion. Maya Dern, author of The Divine Horseman, has put it this way: possession by the spirits is a reminder that man is of divine origin and heir to an uncounted multitude of hearts and minds. That at the root of the universe, the principles of cosmic good endure. that even under his torn shirt, his hunger, the failures of his wit, and the errors of his heart, his very blood harbors monumental spirits. Perhaps this is why voodoo holds sway on the hearts and minds of Haiti.
Are there any spirits here with us tonight? Oh. And, you want to tell people something? Oh. I know what. You want to tell them that this is the best show you've ever seen? Oh, come on, man. Anyways, that last show dealt with voodoo, which has people wanting to become possessed by spirits. But our next show deals with someone not wanting their child to become possessed by a spirit. In the classic episode of A Haunting called Demon Child.
Western Kentucky can be a mystical place, with its dark caves and twisting rivers. Some believe that evil spirits have wandered this land for centuries, lurking in the shadows, waiting to take another soul. Jan Foster knows every highway, street, and back road in Western Kentucky. As a courier for a national delivery service, she's probably been there. Jan's husband Dale is a contractor for the U.S. Postal Service. They both work hard to provide a good life for their two children, 5-year-old Cody and 16-year-old Pamela. A nanny stays with Cody during the day, but usually leaves when Jan or Dale gets home from work.
I need to have a word with you.
Okay.
One night, the nanny waits for Jan so she can speak with her in private.
I want to judge, you know that, but Cody's been using some very bad language.
Well, what has he said?
I can't even repeat what he said.
I was totally shocked.
I don't know where
we don't
he's...
talk like that at home.
To protect their privacy, Jan Foster and her family have agreed to tell their story on the condition of anonymity.
These were unspeakable words. He would threaten her, he defied her, he screamed at her. I did reassure her that he did not hear that type of language in our home, nor was he around it with anyone else. And we had no idea where he picked up this language.
There's more.
More?
Yeah, he's acting very strange. Cody?
Maybe.
Cody's nanny suspects that he is an imaginary playmate,
Cody, it's time to go. I'm very concerned about him.
Okay, I'll talk to him. I promise I will.
See that you do.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
We should have saw the warning signal right then.
All right, get you tucked in, mister. And Mr. Bear with you, all snuggly. So tell me about your new friend. What's his name?
Man.
Just Man?
He doesn't have a real name like John or George or his name is Man. And that was it.
Say our prayer, sweetie. Now I lay me down to sleep.
Most everybody has an imaginary playmate at some time in their childhood. There wasn't any other kids around here that age, so he was basically a loner.
Cody, go to bed. I mean it.
Kitty, come here. Come here, kitty. Come here. Oh. Silly kitty.
What's the matter, honey?
I'm scared.
Come here.
She was hearing scratching noises like fingernails raking across the walls.
It's okay. I'm gonna climb in bed here.
The next morning, Jan is exhausted.
Cody? We really need to start getting ready for...
Firefighters to the rescue! No, I want to stay here and play with my fire truck.
I overheard him in his room, actually carried on a conversation with this invisible playmate. It was, you want to play? No, I don't want to play with that. No, let's not do that. He was hearing something and responding to it.
Cody, who are you playing with?
I'm playing with Man.
Well, tell your little friend bye-bye and come get dressed.
I don't want to.
Cody, you come get dressed now. Cody Foster, you listen to your mama. Pick those clothes off the floor right now and get dressed, or we're going to have a big time out, young man.
This friend was becoming a daily event.
So, Cody has an imaginary friend.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Well, that's kind of normal. What's his name?
How long have you been there, Cody? Listen, sit down. It's time to eat your breakfast. Have some cereal.
I'm not hungry. I want to play with Man.
I thought, well, this is basic behavior. We tried to correct him with verbal correction. It didn't work.
Cody, listen to me. Eat your cereal.
No!
Cody!
No!
Cody! Get in the chair.
No! No!
Cody!
No! No!
I really felt like we needed to hear the whole story about this imaginary friend.
So tell us more about your new friend, Cody.
How old is he?
He's 6.
He tells them that Man has brown hair, brown eyes, and pale skin.
Where'd he come from, Cody?
We asked him where Man came from. He replied, from behind the park where the lake is, deep in the ground.
Did something happen to Man, Cody?
He said that a stranger took him from his mommy and did terrible, terrible things to him. And he cried and he cried and screamed for his mommy, but his mommy never found him. And he never saw his mommy again.
Scream and cry all the time.
It's a chilling story.
Man's whole body was hurt.
A parent's worst nightmare.
After that, he went to sleep.
Jan and Dale try to understand what he is telling them.
Is Man dead, Cody? What's his name?
Man. The stranger took Man away from his mommy.
Dale and Jan Foster are worried.
After that,
Jan believes their son has befriended the ghost of a murdered child. But Dale is not convinced.
I was not really concerned that anything bad was going on. I just thought he's just going through a change of some kind.
It's just a phase he's going through, Jan.
My way of thinking was it was something that he could have heard that he was repeating, because I just didn't believe in that stuff. I just didn't.
I don't think it's anything to worry about.
Well, I do. There's way too much detail.
This filled me with a feeling of dread to know that this ghost of this child was actually making his home with my son.
Jan is determined to find the truth.
I did search the local newspaper to see if there was any child murders in the last 30, 40 years. There was nothing that corresponded with that. I did feel that Cody had told us the truth, that this had been a little boy, But somewhere in the back of my mind was doubt, because we weren't coming up with any evidence to support this fact.
I have a sister. Her name is Mama. She's nice, but she's too old to play with toys.
Cody, you want to read a story?
He didn't want us to tell stories. He didn't want to watch TV. He stopped interacting with the family.
What do you like?
Man became his best friend. I was angry.
I like dinosaurs.
We couldn't understand what was taking Cody's spirit away from us and changing him, and so drastically.
Jan is willing to try anything to get her son back. She calls an old friend, a Native American shaman, a medicine man, who she thinks can provide some insight. Dale is skeptical about meeting the shaman, but wants to support his wife.
I was concerned because I knew that something had really scared her. And I knew that she was upset.
I have seen this in our culture, even with younger children than Cody.
I told him about the events that were happening in the house and how they were escalating, how distant Cody was, his language, his attitude, and this imaginary friend just possessing him.
I believe your son invited this stone spirit into the house.
He explains that the only way to get rid of the spirit is to revoke the invitation by praying.
We've got to uninvite him.
Exactly. And you must be forceful when you do this.
And by using a traditional Native American ritual.
He would not perform the ceremony himself. He said the owner of the house has to do this.
So, what do we need to do?
So dry sage.
He instructed us to burn sage and sweetgrass and direct it around the four corners of the property.
The shaman tells Jan she must also anoint the entryways to the house with olive oil and pray for her son. The next morning, Jan waits until everyone has left the house for the day. She hopes and prays the ritual works.
Was I worthy enough of God for him to hear my prayers? My strongest pleas with him to help me through this, to help me cleanse this house and this property. I doubted myself.
Protect our windows.
For brief moments that I wouldn't be able to. And it was the fear of knowing if it didn't work, what would happen then.
Please give this oil the power to protect our threshold, my house, keep it safe. Air and fire and wind. May this flame please protect us from this little boy. Protect us from this evil little boy spirit that's trying to enter our house.
Miraculously, the blessing seems to work.
What do you think of that rat? It's a big rat, isn't it?
There was no imaginary playmate. Cody became more playful. He was more responsive to the family needs.
Everything is fine for 3 months.
He wasn't 100% back, but everything was pretty well quiet. So I felt that this ceremony did help.
We're coming to the rescue.
Cody was in the hallway, sitting down, playing with his little toys, making sound effects with his little trucks and cars. I was folding laundry.
911.
And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, he started talking to man again. I could not move. And he carried on a little conversation for a little bit, and then he got very, very quiet.
Cody? 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 Cody?
He had something in his hand, and it was a photograph. And I said, "Where did you get this?" And I reached down to grab it.
Give it back! It's mine!
He went berserk.
Give it back! It's mine! Calm down, honey. Honey, it's okay, baby. Shh, honey, it's okay. It's okay. Shh. It's okay.
It looked like an older Polaroid, maybe from the late 50s, early 60s. There was an elderly woman, like a grandmotherly type, and then there was a small boy.
Cody, who's in this picture? Who's in this picture, Cody?
Man.
Cody, where did you get this picture?
Man gave it to me.
House is peaceful for nearly 3 months.
All right, Cody, here's your lunch. It's a sandwich and Jello, okay? Use your napkin now. Don't forget, okay? Sometimes you forget that. God, it's Cody.
I don't want any stupid lunch!
What's going on? Cody Foster, you have just earned yourself one major timeout, young man.
Man said I don't have to listen to you anymore! I don't have to do anything you said!
Alarms went off in my head that this being was telling my son what to do now.
Oh, please don't go.
No, I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore.
I
Give that boy some counseling.
I'm sorry. Please, I'll talk to him. Please don't go. No, wait. Please.
Jan puts on a good face for the family.
I was the one experiencing most of his abusive behavior, and I was trying to cover it up and be rational. I was trying to be a mother. I was trying to keep the family together. I was hoping that maybe this would go away.
Cody, are you hungry?
I knew at this point that Cody was not my son anymore. There was no love, there was no hugging, there was no goodnight kisses.
Jan is afraid that something more sinister may be controlling her son.
He was a total stranger to me at this point. I really didn't know how to handle this. Around this time, I had to start taking him to a distant cousin to watch him while we worked.
Now, Cody, remember, you do not take man inside there today. Do you understand me, son? You leave man behind. Cody?
Hey!
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Hi, Miss Kaylee.
You gonna say hi?
Remember your cousin Kaylee, don't you, Cody?
Hey, Cody, how are ya?
Tammy, thank you so much. I so appreciate this.
Don't worry about it. They're gonna have a lot of fun playing together. They'll be fine.
Okay.
You ready to come inside? Show you some toys in here?
Call me if there's anything. you need, okay?
I will. You're welcome. You just have a great day at work. It's fine.
Bye.
Hey, guys.
Jen, you got a phone call?
Jan is working when she receives an urgent phone call.
Hey, this is Jan.
It's her
Oh, hey,
cousin.
Tony. No, it's okay. What's going on?
She was incoherent.
He what? No, it's
She was
okay.
crying.
Okay, tell me about it. What happened?
She just kept repeating, come
Okay.
get Cody now.
I'm coming.
I cannot watch him anymore.
Okay, I'm coming. I'll be right there. Bye. Shut. I got to go. Family emergency. I'll call you. I promise.
What on earth happened? What's wrong with him? What happened? I don't know. My daughter is in there freaking out. She's terrified.
At first she thought that he was changing his voice, but she noticed that this was a deeper voice. She totally freaked.
Toys floating in the air? What is wrong with him?
She said that she was afraid of him
I can't put her in that situation.
and that her daughter wouldn't play with Cody anymore.
He what? What on earth Cody, why did you take Man with you to Tammy's? I told you not to. Why did you?
Jan doesn't know what to do. She has to find someone to look after Cody, and she can't afford to lose her job.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Jan Foster. I have a son, Cody. I'm wondering if you have any openings at your daycare. You do? Great. Can we start tomorrow? Wonderful. Oh, thank you. Okay, we'll see you at 7. Thank you. Bye-bye. Cody, listen to me. Tomorrow we're starting a new daycare. And you cannot, son, bring Man with you.
I repeatedly warned him, do not take Man to this house. Leave him here at home.
Do you understand me?
Cody agrees and keeps his promise. But at night, Man waits for him to come home.
Cody, supper's ready.
Cody begins destroying his own toys.
Cody, why are you cutting up your bear?
Man said it would be fun.
No, you shouldn't cut up your toys, son. Come on, let's go to supper. Leave the scissors. Don't be cutting up your toys anymore.
For Dale, the incident is disturbing, but not so unusual that it causes him to blame it on anything paranormal.
He was cutting up his teddy bear.
What?
Have you seen him do anything like this before?
You saw Cody cutting up this?
He was sitting on the floor, he had the scissors, and he was cutting up the teddy bears.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
And he told him that Man said it was okay.
No, but this is pretty violent.
What do you think we should do?
Cody,
Cody, where's my cat? Cody, what the heck are you doing? How could you? What happened?
Cody's behavior has hit an all-time low.
I came and he was sitting on her. Cody!
Cody, why were you trying to hurt the kitty?
Man said it would be fun.
Cody, I don't want you to ever hurt the kitty like that again. Do you hear me?
His demeanor became just horrible. I mean, just frightfully horrible. I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown, trying to cope with all this.
Jan, I just had to talk to him. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what he's doing that for.
Dale, he just tried to kill the cat.
I know. I'm at my wit's end with him.
I
What
could
am I
not
gonna
be
do?
rational anymore. We had to finally come face to face that this boy had a problem.
It's not my boy.
Jan is afraid of what he'll do next.
You know, Cody, I've asked you many times to help Mama clean up your room. You're big enough now that you can help me out with some chores around here, young man. I've got a lot to do around here, and if you at least picked up your clothes and put your toys away, it would really help me.
One morning, as Jan is cleaning, she notices that everything in Cody's closet is wet.
Oh. Ew. Cody, are you peeing in the closet?
I discovered that he had urinated all over his toys, in his toy box, all over his clothes.
Man said it's okay.
Well, it's not okay, Cody. You go pee in the bathroom, not in the closet.
Man said you don't have to listen to you anymore.
Even after all Jan has been through, Cody's response is a shock.
I don't have to listen to you anymore. I don't have to do anything you say. Because man said I don't have to.
Cody, Cody, what are you doing? Cody, stop it! Stop it, Cody! It's Mama! Stop it!
I was becoming fearful of my own son. Started happening at such a fast pace. The behavior, the urinating, trying to kill the kitten.
Finally, Cody becomes frustrated with man.
Mama.
What's wrong, baby doll?
Mama.
He said, my bed is shaking.
My
Mama,
bed is shaking.
I need you.
Come here, sweetie. Come on.
For that moment, I saw the little boy I had not seen in over a year. He was reaching out to me. I hadn't been able to hold him like that for a long time.
Gotcha.
I knew for that instant that man was not with him. I was ready to confront this being. I waited till he fell asleep in my arms. I got out of the bed. I stood in front of his doorway to his room.
God, please give me the strength to go through with this.
I wanted to know what this child was going through. I wanted to try and put myself in his place, in Cody's place. I wanted to see if man would somehow communicate with me. his body was growing into this entity. He started laughing very demonically. This sudden realization came over me. This was man.
Jen, honey, what is it? What happened? Why are you screaming? Baby, what's wrong? What's wrong, baby? Are you all right?
I'm fine. Okay.
I calmed the family down as best I could.
Okay.
I told them to go back to bed.
Okay.
Cody put his little hand in mine, and he was squeezing it reassuringly. And he was looking at me as if to say, see, Mommy, it wasn't me.
I saw a man. I understand now.
And we held each other for a very long time. And I felt that at that moment, with that powerful love around us, that man could not intervene.
Later that night, while her family sleeps, Jan prays for guidance.
Protect us. Don't leave us, God.
The total realization of the truth of what man was hit me.
Bring my baby back.
I knew I had to do something about it to protect my family.
What's wrong, baby doll?
Mama, I need you.
I was frightened beyond means, but another part of me, the adrenaline started surging. I knew I had to face this. I knew I had to do something to protect my family and to protect Cody and to keep this entity from taking him any further.
God, tell me what to do.
Jan considers packing up the family. In her heart, she knows it won't do any good. Man follows Cody everywhere.
Cheerleading practice today, right? Yeah. Okay.
I got everybody off to work and school and got
Did you grab your lunch?
Yeah, I've got it, thanks.
Cody to the daycare.
Be good today, okay? You make your mama proud. Behave. Everything's gonna be okay, baby. I promise. Go. I promise.
Hello?
Hi, Shaman, it's Jan.
I need help. I want this
Thing out of my house.
I understand. You did what I told you to do.
No, I need help. I've seen him. Yeah, Cody's playmate. It's not a little boy. It's a man. It's a demon. It's this
I told him I do not think we were dealing with the spirit of a little boy, that we're dealing with something more demonic. He, in turn, told me now he can understand why the first time we blessed the house, it didn't work. We weren't specific enough.
Yes, I understand.
We thought we were dealing with the spirit of a small child. That's what we was asking to leave our home.
You have to start with Cody's room. work
The
your way
shaman
towards
tells
center of the house.
her she will have to bless the house again. Only this time, she must focus on ridding the house of an evil spirit.
I want this thing out of my house.
After her first failure, Jan wonders if she can do it alone.
Thank you.
I'm just a mom. Albeit I have a very strong spiritual side, but I'm not a priest. I'm not a shaman. I was just a mom, and I was fighting for my family.
The shaman tells Jan she will have to be very forceful with her prayers. She must not show any doubt.
I got the olive oil and the sage and the sweetgrass. I started out on the four corners of the property. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, am I going to be attacked?
The Lord is my shepherd.
I was in constant prayer, and I felt as I went along doing this blessing and the house cleansing, I became stronger, I became braver, I became more confident.
And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Lord, forgive me of my sins and make me worthy of your love. Grant me the strength, courage, and guidance of your hands to rid my home of this entity called man. Chocolate? You can get one scoop or two. Two?
I was feeling a much needed essence of peace. I finished the outside and I came to the front door. It was very cold in here, extremely cold, and I could feel a presence. I thought, well, the wind is going to break. Is the house going to shake?
He anoints my head with oil. My cup overflows.
I felt at times that I was just going to lose it. I repeatedly asked for strength to finish this, to ban this entity from our home.
To make me worthy of your love.
I demanded, very loud in a screaming tone, that he was to go back from whence he came.
Return from whence you came, never to return again. Return from whence you came, never to return again. Return from whence you came, never to return again. In the name of our God, our Creator, the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen.
Man is finally gone. Jan can feel it.
I was very exhausted. Could see the world again. It was like a veil had lifted, a dark veil of pain and confusion. I noticed the trees, I could hear the birds. I was back to reality.
The nightmare is over. Jan Foster finally has her son back.
He actually ran to me. Mommy, Mommy. Look what I drew. Look what I did. And I remember holding him and just crying and crying, and again giving my thanks to God.
Oh, and then we got to have a song.
We still feel things around here. We still experience the noises, the feeling of someone watching you. When things do happen around here, it's the first thought that runs through my mind. That this could be man trying to get into our lives again.
I like the fact that in that episode she resolved it by calling a medicine man, which is probably the best form of exorcist that you could probably get. And honestly, what is not the best kind of exorcist you could get is probably the host of our next show, where you could wind up having your story sold and owned by Sony or whoever owns it right now, and they could like forever make movies about some spooky doll that they could always sell from then on. Yeah, of course, we're talking about the Warrens, and we're watching an episode of Seekers of the Supernatural.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seekers of the Supernatural. I'm your moderator, Tony Sparrow. Tonight we have two special guests with us, along with your hosts, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Tonight we have Dr. Joe Klemick and Jennifer Benever, who are psychic investigators who will be talking about two haunted cases that are active right now as we speak. What I'd like to do is start out with Ed, if I may, and ask Ed about the house that is in Trumbull, Connecticut.
Trumbull, Connecticut, yeah. This is a very interesting case in that there's three young ladies that live there and the mother. And it seems that a murder was committed many years ago. Probably 35, 40 years ago. And what they see is the apparition or ghost of a young girl. And the mother has been seen that she's one time been in the bedroom, and she turned around, she felt there was a presence there. And here's this girl, she's looking at her, she's around 15 years old, and she's smiling, and she's very happy. And then she just disappeared. Well, the mother never said anything about this. And the next sighting was in the garden. She was working out in her garden, and she felt a presence again. She turned around, and here's this young girl again, looking at her and looking very happy. And then she just disappeared. Now, this is broad daylight. This is very, very unusual. This is an outdoor spirit, and we call those lepkes, outdoors. So the next sighting was one of the daughters, a young girl, I guess she was around 18. She was in her bedroom. She was puttering around, doing homework or something, and all of a sudden she felt a presence. And she looked around, and here's that same girl. And she's looking at her and looking very happy, smiling, and then she actually walked over and sat on the bed. And I believe there was a conversation between them.
There was a conversation between the two of them, and then this dark form, who we believe to be the person who had perpetrated it, of this man, and the girl ran and hid in what was at that time a closet, but is no longer a closet today, Tony. Now, when we went to the house, we tried something different. Ed said, I'd like to try something different in this house. Instead of commanding the spirits, in God's name to reveal themselves, let's try to do it in a much more gentle manner. Now, I don't know why he chose this particular house.
I was thinking to myself, if I was a spirit and somebody walked in and I didn't know who this person was, and they start screaming, in the name of Jesus Christ, get out of this house, leave now, don't ever come back, I wouldn't feel very welcome, even if I was an earthbound spirit. I'd stay hidden. So I thought what we should do is to treat the spirit as though we're welcoming in to have a conversation with us, and that's what you did.
And that is exactly. Ed played this music, which was very gentle, very low.
What kind of music?
Type of music, like fairy
classical music.
Like a classical music.
Spirits like this type of thing. You know, the emotions are everything. So if you make the spirit welcome, they're going to come in. It's just like if somebody walked in here right now, if it was somebody you didn't like, you wouldn't stay here too long. But if it's somebody you like, you'll stay around, have conversation. Spirits don't change. People don't change. Their emotions don't change. So we wanted to make a friendly atmosphere for this young girl or the man to come into, and then we could communicate with them.
Now, what had happened then at this time, Tony, was that Joe was taking film. He was taking video footage. Now, we had noticed, both Jennifer and I and one of the other people, one of the other researchers who were with us, noticed that one particular area of this house was not a comfortable area.
I just wanted to add this, that we decided to go back there, and Joe and Jennifer and a couple of other people came as investigators from the New England Society for Psychic Research, and we had cameras all set up, we had recorders all set up, and the idea was to try and get some film showing ghostly phenomena, such as electromagnetic energy or ghost globules, or maybe even a face or a full figure. So this is why Joe and Jennifer were there.
Yes.
Joe,
well, let him give.
What did you experience in that house?
I didn't experience much. I'm the cameraman and the audio man in many instances, but in that house, I think one of the most striking things to me was when you were playing that music, and Lorraine and Jennifer were sitting at the table. The two of them, at the same time, seemed to be in the same place, but in sync with each other. But you were coming to the house from one direction, and you were coming to the house from the other direction, and talking about what you were seeing and what you were experiencing. And
it was really phenomenal. That does not happen to me that often.
In other words, you and Jennifer were on the same wavelength?
What
were you saying, Jennifer?
I was approaching, Lorraine had begun by talking about the house back many years ago when this incident occurred, and all of a sudden I found myself traveling along with this young girl who was coming through the fields toward the house.
This is clairvoyantly now.
This is clairvoyantly, and Lorraine was while I'm thinking this and experiencing this, Lorraine is talking about the back of the house, and I was actually approaching the house from the side when this girl whom I was traveling with reached the back of the house. All of a sudden, Lorraine and I were looking at exactly the same things.
It was really amazing. First of all, the area that Joe was in was a family room. You step down a small step out of the kitchen area. There's sliders, and you look out onto beautiful lawns, absolutely beautiful lawns, and beautiful manicured area. But that is not how I was seeing it. It was all overgrown.
Now you were seeing it back when, right?
Back when. There was a dilapidated porch. I had the strong smell of whiskey. Very, very strong smell.
Whiskey? Hey, do you want to drink it again, will you?
Very strong smell of
I just like to add that.
Well, I
it doesn't drink at all.
It doesn't drink at all.
What Lorraine is doing is going back in time. We call this here retro-cognitive experiences.
Now, at this point, I can see a dog, and the dog had spots on him, and he was chained to a doghouse, and there were men on the porch. And as this girl is walking through this backyard, I hear chickens. I can hear chickens, the sound of chickens. And then we see her walking. Now, she avoids this porch where these men are. She totally avoids that. And she goes in the back of the yard, and I said, "Where's the hatchway?" And they said, "There is no hatchway." Well, if you're looking at something, you know there's a hatchway there.
Did you see the hatchway
I saw
too,
the hatchway
Jennifer?
also, yes.
You did.
I was very surprised when they said there was no hatchway.
Yes.
There was not one now, but there was one then.
And the inners of the hatchway are still intact.
Well, how old is this house?
I imagine about 50-some years
Yeah,
old.
it's around 50, 60 years old.
And when did the phenomena really begin? When did it start?
Well, when there is any type of upset in a home, and there had been upset in this home, emotional upset, and also there had been communication, Tony. There had been doors open through Ouija
That's what I
boards.
was wondering.
But unlike most times, we do not condone the use of Ouija boards. We know that people fooling with Ouija boards open doors that can never be closed, and it just boomerangs on them. But in this particular case, as we watched this girl go down into that hatchway, it was horrible. Both Jennifer and I, at that point together, said we could not go any further. We could not watch this any longer. And then there was a boy, and the boy was 8 years old. Now that girl was coming over to care for that boy, and he was in like a, I don't know what you'd call it, it's a canning area now, like a canning closet.
Coal cellar.
Like a coal
Where they
cellar.
put up vegetables and things like that?
Exactly.
Yes. And the boy had communicated on the Ouija board with them regarding what he witnessed, which was this crime. And when Joe took photographs, you have photographs that were taken
We do have
on
some
that
photographs.
property.
Yes.
There's 3 of them, Tony. One of them actually shows, yes, that is incredible.
All right, we do have some large photographs here that I'd like to show, if I could. You can explain, Lorraine, if you'd like, what this...
Well, that's the electromagnetic energy that a spirit will gather to manifest itself. And what it's creating here is what we call a psychic light rod. You notice that the edges are all kind of fuzzy there. This is the energy that we try to pick up on cameras when we go into a haunted house. Sometimes they look like this, sometimes like balls of light, etc.
That's Lorraine coming through the door of what was the hatchway.
That was
into
the
that cold cellar.
which is where the tragedy had
We have
occurred.
another shot, I guess it's pretty similar.
It's similar, but it was, I'm outside the door there.
Now remember, at night, these would come out much clearer. We have a small picture here outside the house which shows a lot of what we refer to as ghost globules. Now these ghost globules will many times when they appear in a house, appear in the bedroom, it'll then go into a cigar shape, and then you will see the ghost or the apparition.
Okay, I can see it.
But this is all
yes, you do see that.
Globules, they're
Yeah, they
little
look like,
round,
sort of like
white.
transparent moons.
And by the way, that little shed, which is a storage shed now, was a chicken coop.
It was?
Yes,
Chicken coop, right?
yes, it was, Tony. Now,
But we're still working on this case, and
It's still an active case.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll let our viewers out there know what happens at a later date. But the house that I'm really interested in right now.
before we go into that other case, I want Joe to tell what the professional photographer who processed this film said to him.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But the people who processed that and the professionals who examined it said that there is no way you can explain that photograph away by a light leak or by a technical problem with the development of the film. If there were a light leak, you would see the extension of that light to the edge of the negative, and it does not extend to the edge of the negative. It's been said to me by people who do this all the time that there is no explanation for that other than some kind of energy which is being picked up by the silver crystals in the film.
Right. Well, the camera doesn't lie.
No,
what it
that's
sees, it picks up. You know, it's an impartial witness, and that's what I like about psychic photographs. But this other house that we're going to be talking about, we've been working on this just a little over a year. Unfortunately, we haven't been successful. It has to do with an elderly woman. She's a widow. Her husband died just about a little over a year ago. And just before he died, she started hearing raps and knocks in the kitchen, in the living room, especially in the bedroom, in the back of her bed. And the bed would shake. And then she would hear her name being called out, Nellie, Nellie, Nellie. And this would wake her up out of a deep sleep. Then there was the movement of objects, and she'd hear things going on in the kitchen. She'd go out there. Now, she's an elderly woman. She's all by herself. She lives in the country, and she becomes very frightened. So we went out there, and we conducted an investigation, but this was at the time that I had to go into a hospital for an operation myself. So we kind of put it off until I got back. And this woman, frightened out of her wits, very religiously oriented person. In fact, she has crucifixes and religious pictures, holy water, statues all over the house. But sometimes a person can be too religious. This lady actually was the model for the Blessed Mother way back in 1937 on one of these floats. Devils don't like that. And this might be a test of her faith. I think that's about what it is, because we've tried exorcisms, masses, blessings, self-immunization. We've tried communication in many forms to find out what's going on. The physical attacks on the lady are quite bad too. She's been picked up and thrown out of a chair. She's been slapped. She's been punched. She's been in bed and thrown out of the bed, and it's just a horrendous thing. So when we went there, of course, I myself had bad experience one day when I went into the house. I thought that she had called me. It was not her. And this is a phantom phone call, as we call it. I went over there. It was around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. It was a very, very snowy day. It was last winter. And I noticed that the porch door was open, which she never leaves open. I walked in, and the parlor door was open. I walked in there, and I yelled out, Nellie, Nellie, are you here? And I heard a voice say, yes, Ed, I'm in here. It was Nellie's voice.
You heard that voice?
It was Nellie's voice.
Okay.
Okay. This comes from what we call a materialized larynx, or telepathically. Now, I walked in, and there's a radio room. Her husband was a radio ham, just off to the left in a small hallway. Then off to the right is where her bedroom is and the bathroom. Well, the door was open in the bathroom, or in the radio room, which she never leaves open. And I heard her calling me again. I'm in here, Ed. I walked past the bathroom, but the door was locked in her bedroom. I went to open it, was locked. And I said, Nellie, are you in there? And I heard a click, as though somebody had unlocked the door. And opened the door, but her form was lying in a bed. Now, this is a very small room. Her bed is still there, and a hospital bed is alongside of hers. And this was the bed that her husband died in, but she still keeps it there. And I seen what I thought was her lying in the bed. She was turned over on her side. She has very dark hair, and I could see the hair sticking out from the blankets. And I said, Nellie, are you sick? There was no response. I said, Nellie, are you sick? Then there was this overwhelming stench of rotting meat or something dead. Immediately I was getting the message. This thing turned around and looked at me, and it had a face that looked like it was parchment, kind of yellowish and all crackled. It was not Nellie.
But then you
and
said...
I commanded in the name of Jesus Christ what was there to leave and go back to where it came from. I made the sign of the cross. With that, the blankets just sank right down.
The blankets sank flat.
Now, people think that we don't get shook up in these things. Remember, I'm in this house, alone, in that house, looking at this, and I know what can happen. See, we probably get more frightened than the average person because we know what can happen. They don't.
Exactly.
And I started out of there, and I heard, Ed, I'm down here. I'm down here. And it was Nellie's voice. And I thought, well, where is she now? And it was coming from the cellar. I started toward the cellar, and all of a sudden something said, no, that's not Nellie down there. And I just turned around and went out the door and locked the door.
Was Nellie home?
No, Nellie was not home. It was not Nellie who called me and told me to come to the house. If anybody's ever read Phone Calls from the Dead, you can pick up a phone and you'll hear a deceased person on the other side of that phone call. And this happens many times. It happened with some very dear friends of ours. Pick up the phone, it's been ringing, and you're talking to somebody who died. But remember, this comes from a materialized larynx. Now, what about the experiences that both of you had there?
Yeah,
That was
they
quite-
really had horrendous.
We spent 2 nights in that house with several other investigators. The first night we were there, most of the activity that occurred took place in that same bedroom where you saw that that apparition. And that night we had Jennifer was on one bed, another investigator, a female investigator, was on the other bed, and I was sitting at the bottom end of the bed. And we were talking about the spirit. We were asking whether it would be coming and whether it would approach us.
See, they were giving recognition.
And the 2 women who are sensitive began seeing things and feeling things. And
What did you see, Jennifer?
Well, we saw lights, mainly.
Ghost lights.
Ghost lights, lots of ghost lights coming in the top of the door, and
Were they like streaming in? Were they like
they were
rays of light?
pouring in from the top half, just pouring in.
Pouring
Lights
in.
pouring in, and they would go right to the ceiling and swirl around.
Were they
And
colors? Were
They
there
were
colors?
beautiful colors, pink and blue and yellow and green. They were mesmerizing.
They were transfixed. Both women who saw these were just transfixed. They were astounded at the beauty. And then something happened where the woman on the other bed said, "They're coming at me. I can't see." And she started pushing away things from her eyes. So I got up from the bed and I tried to help her. When I did get up off the bed to try to help her, Jennifer,
I looked down at my leg, my left leg, and it jerked once. And I looked down and I thought, oh, I must be more nervous than I think. And I'm, of course, watching Joe help the other investigator who was calling out for help. And all of a sudden, my other leg started to jerk around. And I thought I maybe should say something, but they were so busy I didn't want to bother them. Well, by the time I got their attention, I was literally being lifted off the bed and pounded down. And it hurt a lot. My muscles were contracting, and I was in a lot of pain. And I called for Joe to please come back and help. And he ran across the room, very small room, and held my ankles down. And I easily was able to lift his arms off the bed with my feet. Then he put his forearms on my knees, and I was able to easily lift him right off the floor and his arms right off.
Now, were you doing that consciously?
No, I could not control any movement below my waist.
Your whole body was just taken over by
My
something.
body was taken over by something, and I was literally bouncing up and down on the bed, and he was trying to keep me on the bed so I wouldn't fall on the floor.
So what did you do about that,
And
Joe?
she was scared. I mean, so was
I was yelling, do something, do something.
And the other investigator couldn't see anything. So
She was no help.
I couldn't hold her on the bed, and then suddenly I felt something wet in my back pocket. And then I remembered the holy water that I had. I hadn't thought of it before that. I pulled out the holy water, took it out, sprinkled it all over Jennifer, and said, "In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to leave." And it stopped.
It stopped.
It just stopped.
It just stopped.
See, now that's exactly what Ed did, but you didn't have holy water
No.
when you were doing that.
I have to say that, when you use the holy water in the name of Christ, it's really your faith, that's being tested here, and your faith is what's stopping all of this demonic activity. And this is demonic activity. This lady's brother was a priest. He was retired after 42 years at a parish in Pennsylvania, and super religious people. And again, people are probably saying out there, my God, why would the Lord let this woman suffer like this? Well, sometimes, these people are tested. Their faith is tested. And perhaps, maybe millions of people will hear about it through our society. And when people hear about cases like this, the same things are happening to them. But they think, I must be going mad, I must be going crazy. But yet, look at, these people are talking here about something that happened to me. So if I contact them, maybe they can help me.
And you know that the thing with this lady is that she's remains so much in control, or at least tries to remain in control.
Very strong person.
But she woke me one night at 3 o'clock in the morning, and when I realized it was a legitimate call, not some mentally troubled person, because a lot of times that will happen, I sat right up in bed, because otherwise you don't feel like you're alert.
Right.
And when I sat right up in bed, she said, "Oh, Lorraine, I am so scared. I am just so scared. It's terrible." She said, "This huge thing manifested right next to my bed." Now, this is the thing that's amazing.
What did it look like?
She said it was just very large and very dark. Now, if you look at photographs that have been taken by researchers who have gone in there, one man in particular who's in the military and teaches sonar to officers, he took 2 photographs, and in the photographs, in one corner of this small bedroom, you see this dark shadow, and on the other end of the bedroom, where the door is, on the side of the door, you see this dark thing again.
You know, we call these shadow ghosts. Many times they'll appear as a monk-like figure, maybe 6 foot, 6.5 foot high.
And that's what was found, that was there the other night.
The other night.
The other night.
That's what preceded the episode the other night. There were 4 of us in that room, the same room. There were a woman on each bed and a man sitting on the bottom of each bed. And the 2 that were on the bed where they could see the hallway said, "My God, there's a cloaked, hooded figure standing in the hallway."
Yep, that's...
And it's coming toward us. And so as they were looking at it, and I was leaning around, Jennifer, who was watching all of the lights coming into the room, leaned over the edge of the bed and said, "Oh, look at all the beautiful lights
The
again."
entire bed that I was on was just surrounded by these beautiful lights. I had no interest in looking out the hallway. I don't know why.
Then, as she was alertly saying, "Oh, this is beautiful," she suddenly said, "I'm really tired and sleepy," and just slumped.
Really?
Right down
Why would that be, Ed? Why would
trance. Jennifer went into a trance. I believe that if Joe did not use the holy water and bring her out of it, take her outside, that she would have went deeper and deeper into a trance, and this spirit would have came through Jennifer.
Now, this spirit is something that I communicated with, but I don't know that it's the same spirit that was there.
You think there's more than one spirit in that house?
Yeah,
definitely more than one. I think the husband's spirit comes there to protect Nellie, but there's something demonic that is constantly attacking this poor woman. You know, she's been to Lourdes, she's been to Fatima, she's been to all the shrines that ever were in Europe, in the United States. She's not a wealthy woman, but she managed to get to these places through church groups. Now, it's my thought again that she is one of the chosen ones. Why do I say chosen? Well, look at us. We're sitting here talking about this case. There's hundreds of thousands of people that are going to hear about it.
True.
Because of Nellie and what she suffered. And what the story is here, the message is that God exists, but also that the devil exists.
Now, I know Joe had something else, another point you were going to make, Joe, and I think I broke your train of thought.
Well, one of the things I was going to say was that Jennifer finally did wake up after sprinkling holy water on her, and the first thing she said when she came out of it was, "What are you doing to me?" But it wasn't really her voice.
Really?
I did manage to get her up, and we helped her out, and not until she got outside of the house.
True. Yes, I have no memory. The last thing I remember is feeling this incredible tiredness coming over me and just feeling I had to lay down. And the next thing I remember is standing outside in my bare feet and saying, "What happened? Why are we out here?"
So, Ed, how do you think we can resolve this case? How's it going to be resolved?
Well, I think that, God in His great mercy will allow us to find the road down that we're going to free this woman from these attacks. And I believe that Jennifer here is a deep trance medium, because on a couple of occasions, on cases that we've been involved with, you started to drift off. I've been watching you. And that would go deeper than what Lorraine is. Lorraine is a light trance medium. You're going to be a deep trance medium. That is, if you want to be, Jennifer.
Congratulations, Jennifer.
Yeah, really. I'm just about out of time, and I hope that the viewers at home would try to pray, anybody who believes in God, pray for this woman and these two women, the Trumbull case and the Huntington case, because prayer does have substance. Prayers are listened to, I believe, and prayers are answered. So, Lorraine, anyone who wants to contact you would write you at P.O. Box 41.
And we do get some beautiful mail, Tony.
In Monroe.
In Monroe. Post,
06468, P.O. Box 41. We're just about out of time, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's program, ladies and gentlemen. For Dr. Joe Klemick, Jennifer Benever, Ed and Lorraine, I'm Tony Sparrow. Good night.
I think we did it. I think we captured some sort of EVP on our tape recorder. So, let's play it back and listen to it.
The show sucks.
Oh man, did it? Say the show sucked? Yeah, well, you know what? There's no arguing with that. It does suck. So, I'm gonna completely retool it. Let's completely sell out. Let's ditch all the ghosts and go full X-Files Paranormal. That's what people want. So, just give me one moment. Okay, now since I went full sci-fi and summoned the spirit of Dan O'Bannon, let's look to the sky, shall we, as we watch an episode of Sightings.
The following program deals with controversial subjects. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation. The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information. Tonight on Sightings, have our shuttle astronauts captured photographic proof of real Star Wars between extraterrestrials and our military? Then, for almost 2 centuries, this small Texas town has witnessed bizarre glowing balls of light. Are they natural phenomenon or alien spacecraft? Tonight, the mystery of the Marfa Lights.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. Tonight, startling new pictures of a UFO encounter that has top analysts locked in a heated debate. The authenticity of the pictures is above suspicion because they were taken by specialists aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery.
For the past year, the United States government has avoided discussing what is potentially the most important 30 seconds of video footage to have emerged from the U.S. space program. The footage looks fairly innocuous, but some believe that something is going on here NASA doesn't want us to know about. On September the 12th, 1991, STS-48 lifted off into space for what NASA officials expected to be a routine shuttle mission. But what Discovery's cameras would capture high above the Earth during that mission would prove to be anything but routine.
I heard one or two of the astronauts exclaim over shortwave radio, "What is that? What is that?"
NASA says the objects could be space ice, satellites, or debris. Ufologists interpret the footage as either alien spacecraft engaged in armed battle or an armed response to alien spacecraft by SDI, the so-called Star Wars defense system.
This particular day, they're flying over the Philippines. You'll see what looks like stars in the sky, and then you'll see these objects off to the right of the screen. Within a couple of minutes, you will see an object come out of the clouds to the north part of your screen, and it's heading to the north-northwest. In about 4 or 5 seconds, you'll see a flash in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, and then you'll see a streak of light go by that object. Just missed it there, and the one in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. What's being enacted up there is basically a contact with an alien civilization, and that those particular craft are not from here. The flash that we're seeing is probably a mechanism of Star Wars.
Is this finally concrete proof that we're being visited by intelligent life from another planet? Space industry officials answer with an emphatic no.
A lot of things we see on the picture from space are things we're used to seeing here in the control center down here in Houston. They're ordinary events that surround the spaceship. Pieces coming off, water dumps, pieces of ice, insulation. They're just little pieces 10, maybe 20 feet away from the camera. And as they're flowing across the field of view of the camera, there's a flash of light as one of the maneuvering jets on the shuttle fires under autopilot control. Anything floating out there is like opening your door on a windy day and watching the dust in your house blow out. The burst of gas from the jet pushes these little pieces of debris, and off they go.
If that is true, why doesn't the horizon line and the curvature of the Earth's latitude change when that rocket fires in the upper left quadrant or to the west side?
And NASA's explanation defies the laws of physics, according to University of Nebraska at Omaha physicist Dr. Jack Katcher.
NASA's claim is that these are all pieces of ice, and that this flash down here was an attitude rocket adjuster to adjust the position of the shuttle, so it's going to push it in a certain direction, and the exhaust came up like this. Well, if that happened, then the particles should move up in this direction. Those two pretty well fit that scenario, but I have a real problem with the rest of them because, first of all, this one just starts here and continues on down this way, just straight the whole time. Now, that's the wrong direction for an exhaust in this direction, too. So I really have a lot of trouble seeing how you could make an explanation like that work.
Analysis by aerospace propulsion expert David Froning refutes NASA's belief that the objects are conventional spacecraft.
Its behavior doesn't look like a normal orbital debris. To make a turn like that in a conventional vehicle would just be impossible. And to do that, you really have to actually warp and twist space. These certainly do appear to be objects that are intelligently controlled.
NASA has issued several statements insisting the UFOs are chunks of space ice, but they refuse to comment on two additional sightings that occurred later in the mission. Here, one object is intercepted by a rocket-like projectile. The object continues as more projectiles pass. Later, on the dark side of the Earth, another object comes into view. Soon, a second, faster-moving object nearly collides with the first, then continues out of frame.
What if, then, they were extraterrestrial craft? Well, then, there are some very scary things happening here. Was it some kind of a missile that we were firing at them with? And if that's the case, then why did we do that? It implies we're prepared to do that we're almost expecting to encounter these things, and then we're hostile to them.
Is our military prepared to launch offensive strikes against incoming UFOs? Government officials won't respond.
It's not a question of whether there is a government cover-up about UFOs. There is. It's the most highly classified topic in all the government and military.
Has the military secretly developed SDI beyond public knowledge, despite their denials?
There have been developments for the Space Defense Initiative of particle beam systems that could have particle beams with the kinds of speeds that we saw going straight up into space.
And if that is the case, why are we shooting at them?
It implies that we expected to see them and that we were ready to shoot, and then we did shoot, so we considered them hostile.
You can look at these kind of lights and these kind of reports of the flying saucers coming around our spaceships. In terms of exploration, this is very traditional. These are our sea serpents. These are our mermaids. 500 years ago, when Columbus's ships went out and the men peered off at the horizon, they could see little things on the horizon. They would misinterpret them or interpret them in different ways or incorrect ways and come back and tell stories. We're getting the same sort of phenomena here. Well, first of all, a death ray or a laser beam that's in a Hollywood movie shows up as a flash of light and a crash and a thunder and so forth. That's Hollywood. In reality, these kinds of beams in space are invisible because they have nothing to show up on except a target. So you would not see a beam going across the picture.
James Oberg has devoted the last 18 years to aerospace research. Although Oberg insists he is an independent analyst, some ufologists believe he's part of a secret government conspiracy to debunk all UFOs.
It's a bit too trite and a bit insulting to the intelligence of the average American to say you know, it's something to do with space folklore or space debris.
Let's not forget that these people are not some kind of UFO organization speaking for 10,000 scientists out there. These are a couple of very far out people who are not even accepted in the UFO movement.
Is this merely ice from the space shuttle? Secret weapons testing the military won't disclose? Or is this finally proof that we're not alone in the universe?
It's only a matter of time, but I would wager by 1995 this will be common knowledge, and the fact that extraterrestrials are here will be accepted by everybody.
For a further perspective on the space shuttle footage, we've asked University of Nebraska at Omaha physicist Dr. Jack Kasher to join us. Dr. Kasher, thanks for coming in. Appreciate your time. What evidence can you cite, sir, that those lights that we saw on the tape aren't conventional satellites?
Well, I think the strongest evidence for me is I sat down and I put a transparency in front of the television set, and I tracked 8 of those objects both before and after the flash. And the main one did cut up sharply to the right, apparently in response, if you would believe the ice theory, of an attitude adjuster rocket down here that would push it up with its exhaust. 2 of the 8 objects did that. 4 just continued, didn't react. 2 went up and to the left, which is the wrong direction. And I've looked at that 50, 100 times. I just can't reconcile that in my own mind.
Have you been ostracized at all by the scientific community for holding these particular beliefs?
Not really. You'd be surprised at the physicists that have come up after they've heard me speak about UFOs and say they're really surprised that there is evidence that is at least plausible that these things are real.
You sort of went out on a limb, Dr. Kasher. You said that by 1995 these kinds of sightings would be commonplace. Why 1995? Do you know something the rest of us don't?
Well, I do have some contacts that have given me some information, and I think I based some of it on that. But I think that there is a groundswell of interest in UFOs. People are being more open about the sightings that they have had. And that just builds up. And eventually, what are you going to do when your friends tell you they have actually seen flying saucers hovering above their houses? After that happens to you a number of times, you just have to start believing some of it.
Dr. Kasher, have you seen a UFO yourself or anything that would lead you to personally believe that they're out there?
Well, I haven't seen anything as spectacular, say, as a flying saucer, but I have seen lights in the sky that behave in a strange way that you couldn't explain in terms of normal airplanes. And I do teach astronomy. I know where the constellations are and what meteors are, so I can differentiate between those things. And the objects that I saw were not airplanes, and I'm not really sure what they were.
Dr. Jack Kasher, thank you very much. And we will be back with more sightings in just a moment.
Coming up next, what are these bizarre glowing balls of light? Some say natural phenomenon, some say alien spacecraft. We investigate the mystery of the Marfa lights.
Astronomers know what causes the aurora borealis, those spectacular multicolored curtains of light known as the northern lights. But there is also another lesser-known light phenomenon occurring in the night skies all over the world, and it has continued to defy explanation for almost 2 centuries.
It started out very slowly, but very brightly. There was a single bright yellow light. It was brilliant.
The closer it got, it changed to a kind of a silvery green orb.
It seems to dance or move in a rhythmic way.
And then they go up into the sky, and when they're up there, well, they just have a big party up there.
They weren't hostile. They were very, very friendly, it seemed. They didn't chase us. They didn't descend on us, and they were soft in color. Yellows, soft greens, blues. I don't think there's any question about it. The lights are there.
Marfa, Texas is a small town southwest of El Paso. For the past 150 years, residents, visitors, and scientists have all looked into the night sky and seen dazzling multicolored lights dubbed the Marfa lights. Reported sightings date from Apache accounts in the early 1800s to the Wall Street Journal in 1984.
I think they're Satan's people, tell you the God's truth.
They're ghost lights, and it's ghosts.
It was just eerie to me. Nobody else was afraid, but I was afraid.
Lifetime resident Vern Campbell took these photographs of the lights using time-lapse photography.
And I saw this light coming across the area, moving toward the power line. And
I assumed that it was following the power line toward me, and I stood transfixed. As a matter of fact, I was scared, very badly frightened. I don't know what they are. I don't claim to know. I'm not sure I even want to know, but I know that they do exist.
In America, there are at least 100 zones that are regularly haunted by these curious light phenomena. One of the most famous places is Marfa.
Paul Devereaux is a London-based earth sciences researcher who believes geology holds the answer to the Marfa lights.
These lights, nobody knows what they are. They're rather exotic phenomena. They're not UFOs, they're not flying saucers. They're somehow produced by the Earth itself.
Right now, an international team of scientists is in Marfa seeking an explanation to the light phenomenon. The team is headed by one of the top physicists in the world, Yoshihiko Atsuki.
This is a research work on the fireball, so-called Marfa light. We believe this is a kind of natural phenomena. Natural phenomena means this is some kind of atmospheric electricity.
The team has established a base camp just north of the official viewing site open to the public. State-of-the-art atmospheric technology has been flown in and set up. All manner of recording devices are also in place. Since the team does not know the true source of the Marfa lights, they also acknowledge the spiritual. A Buddhist priest performs a ritual he believes will summon the lights. Early in the investigation, the team was frustrated. The lights did not appear.
We watched and watched, but nothing we obtained, nothing filming, nothing eyewitness observation. So we was very disappointed.
Mission specialist Ed Hendricks tried out new detection devices while the team waited. Hendricks' obsession with the Marfa lights began on February 2nd, 1991, when he had his first sighting.
I was flabbergasted. I don't think I've ever been the same since. I've been fascinated and almost obsessed by it, trying to figure out what could possibly do something like that.
Hendricks specializes in the science of spherics, the study of the sounds of the atmosphere. He has previously recorded strange sounds which accompany the appearance of the Marfa lights.
They are long, kind of descending pitch signals that sound something like...
On September 1st, 1992, as Hendricks set up his equipment, the team's first light suddenly appeared on the horizon.
Wow. There it is, it's going again. It's flickering, wow. It's got different colors. It's got red and yellow, and it's flashing. It's flashing very rapidly. Looks almost like a firefly. It's very bright now. It's getting brighter, and it looks a little bit red. It's dividing in two. The two pieces are moving apart. There they go, and they're getting real close. And they've crossed again, and they're just continuing this. They're going back and forth, swinging back and forth, and they're doing this as though this is what I think people mean when they say that the lights are doing a dance. I think they're going. I think that's all.
What are these dancing, multicolored lights? While this investigative team searches for an answer, other scientists say the lights are nothing more than the headlights of cars traveling on nearby Route 67.
I don't believe there are any facts to support the myths. We cannot say that there's no manifestation of the devil or flying saucers or Indian ghosts, but there are no facts to represent that. There are some facts to indicate very strongly that what most people see are car lights on Highway 67.
There are people who are skeptical about the Marfa lights and who believe that what everybody sees are car headlights, and indeed many people do see car headlights and assume that they're Marfa lights and believe that. But even the most serious skeptic, the people who attribute all of the phenomenon to car headlights, could not possibly have seen what we saw and conclude that they were looking at car headlights, because cars could not be made to do what we saw those lights do.
And with the sightings dating back to the early 1800s, car headlights must be ruled out in those cases.
Right now, I don't know what they are, and I'm continuing to to work on that. I have some more years left, and all that time I'm going to continue to look at it until I figure it out.
We have no facts that illustrate that it's anything beyond the natural.
For the people who live in Marfa, the parade of scientists and specialists who work here are just part of life. And so too are the Marfa lights that they have witnessed their whole lives and explain in their own way.
It's just there. And it's been there all these many years. And with all these people trying to find what it is, I don't think they will, and I hope they don't. It would be nice just to remain the Marfa mystery light.
The problem with understanding the Marfa lights is not that they can't be explained, but that there are so many explanations. Theories range from UFOs to headlights to weather anomalies like ball lightning. Some even suggest that the lights are jackrabbits who brushed up against phosphorescent vegetation. But so far, all these theories remain unproven.
Coming up next, in a special sightings update from Wisconsin, this man captured a bizarre image with his Polaroid camera that many believe is a ghostly apparition.
According to the most recent Roper poll on the paranormal, 18.5 million Americans report having seen a ghost. One of those people contacted us with a remarkable photograph that he took near his home in Hayward, Wisconsin. Northern Wisconsin is a freshwater fishing paradise, and some say a haven for ghostly apparitions. Skeptics dismiss these stories as folklore designed to lure tourists. But eyewitness accounts are plentiful, and now potential hard evidence has surfaced, an intriguing photograph.
I looked up, and here I see this white figure above the tree line, and it's slowly descending towards the trees.
Al Denninger has been a fishing guide through the waters of the Chippewa flowage for 17 years. He knows these waters like the back of his hand. But last October, he saw something he couldn't explain.
You could see it actually pass through the trees and slowly descend right above the shoreline. And the object was 10, 12 feet tall. I took one picture with the Polaroid. Slowly this object moved down the shoreline that way, towards the west. Moved about 50 yards, stayed there maybe 10, 15 seconds, and slowly ascended right straight up into the sky and was gone.
Denninger claims he photographed this apparition of a human form floating above an area locals call Ghost Island. Later, he had his photograph enlarged for better analysis.
I had the original looked at by a photo expert. He says, first of all, you can't dupe up a Polaroid. He says, well, I can't tell you what it is, but whatever it is, it's really there.
When word of Denninger's photo got out, more eyewitnesses came forward, claiming they'd also seen the apparition.
Two young men were fishing there at midnight, and one of them saw a white-robed figure about 8 feet from the ground, sort of floating among the graves. Al sent them the picture, and they called up and says, that is what we saw.
Stories of discontented spirits haunting Ghost Island have existed since Wisconsin's Chippewa River was dammed in the 1920s, causing floodwaters to engulf the island's historic cemetery. Most of the graves were moved to higher ground, but locals worry about the plots that were left behind. Could the apparitions be restless souls searching for their displaced loved ones?
I've always had an open mind, and I've always figured that you're a little naive to think you're probably the only one in this universe, but whatever I saw, it definitely wasn't from anything I've ever seen before.
If you photographed or videotaped what you believe to be a ghost, or if you had an encounter with the paranormal, our Sightings investigative team wants to know.
To report your sighting, call 1-900-740-SIGHT. That's 1-900-740-SITE. Each call 75 cents a minute. Average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older. Again, to report your paranormal experiences, call the Sightings hotline at 1-900-740-7483. On the next Sightings, a satanic deliverance gets out of control.
She began to punch, to kick, to bite.
And leaves this woman maimed and bloodied. Was it an overzealous exorcist or the demon himself? On the next Sightings.
Join us next time for new investigations into the unexplained. For Sightings, I'm Tim White. Good night.
Coming up next, Fox's Friday Night Search Party continues with an all-new episode of the only crime series where you, the viewer, uncover the clues, likely suspects. And tomorrow, you'll laugh out loud at the new Fox comedy in the tradition of In Living Color, The Edge. A lot of shows claim to be outrageous, but only one takes you to the edge. Tomorrow after a full hour of Cops and an all-new Code 3. Now stay tuned for Likely Suspects.
Oh well, it's gonna end the way all sci-fi things end. And that is to send the fellers to Mexico for the old chop chop and to order some Nikes. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in.
I'm in contact with every day.
Our first